I'm Erin Wilson, and you are listening to Inside NC Labor, a podcast designed to inform and educate North Carolina citizens on the role that the Department of Labor plays in state government. Good afternoon, I'm Erin Wilson, the Director of Communications, and I'm here with my co-host,
Meredith Watson.
And we are here with Jennifer Haigwood, the Deputy Commissioner of the Occupational Safety and Health Division, and Jessica Foster, who is with DPR Construction. And we're going to talk about the role of OSHA and working in a safety profession. So good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
So Jennifer, can you tell us about your role and history with the North Carolina Department of Labor?
Sure. And first of all, let me just say I love the North Carolina Department of Labor. I love working here. I have been here for a little bit over 17 years, and I've had the opportunity to work in a lot of different parts of the agency. I came in as a legislative assistant. I've done the government affairs for the department. I've done the policy. I have been the communications director, and most recently, I was honored to be appointed to the role of Deputy Commissioner for the Occupational Safety and Health Division, and I have been in that role now for about 5 months.
So Jessica, we know you as a member of the OSH Advisory Council. Could you tell us a little more about your background and how you got into safety?
Absolutely. So I started in the trades. I did an apprenticeship program, the steam fitters and pipe fitters, the steam fitters and plumbers local 602 apprenticeship. And I got to North Carolina in the late 90s, and I continued with local 421 with the pipe fitter apprenticeship. And so I got into a role of management, and part of the continuing education was to get the OSHA 30. And so when I got the OSHA 30, that's when it clicked. And so that's what started me in my safety career. It was really by accident, but before the class was over, I already knew it was just a passion, just like this. I was already asking, what is the next step? But working on my tools, then being able to work for different companies, I've seen it both from what safety is as a professional and also as being in the trade. So that was really what got me into the safety profession, knowing that I can make a difference because I've been on both sides.
So we're going to talk for a few minutes about the role of OSHA, both from the government perspective and from the employer perspective. Jennifer, many people start to get worried when they hear OSHA. But tell us more about OSHA and how the OSH Division's goal is to help, not hurt businesses and employees.
Sure, and I think this is an easy question for me to answer right now because I've spent my entire career working for what people call OSHA, but here in North Carolina, we just call ourselves the OSH Division. And it's interesting hearing Jessica talk about the 30-hour, because I just took my first 10-hour course last week, and that's interesting for me only because I've worked here for so long, but the past 5 months has really been the first time that I have been fully immersed in the occupational safety and health world. And so taking some of our internal training classes and some of our external training classes, like the 10-hour class, I'm feeling what Jessica is talking about the passion for safety. And I do understand how a lot of businesses can be a little bit intimidated and perhaps fearful when they hear OSHA. And I'm here to say that that is not what we're about. Our priority here is to help employers and employees keep their workers safe. And we want to make sure that each one of your workers, each one of you listening, goes home to your family in the exact same way that you came to work this morning. We do have the ability to issue citations and fines, but that is not our goal. Our goal is to offer consultative services, education, and then compliance activity.
So Jessica, you see this from the other side in the private industry. Could you tell us about your experience with OSHA or the OSH Division in that capacity?
I sure can. And I remember decades ago when I was a foreman and we would know that OSHA was coming on site. And to be honest, it was a disappearing act because even in that capacity, we weren't really understanding what that really meant. And so it was a scary thing for many people to understand that there's a government entity on site. So now my experience being with the OSH division, through the Carolina Star program, through being here for many years, once I got out of the Army, I came back because I really wanted to continue to be in North Carolina. And now being exposed to different companies and in different positions, I've been able to advocate for safety as a safety professional and talk to different people about the opportunities that will keep them safe. Whether it's through the North Carolina STAR program or getting prepared for a site visit. And I represent different companies during those walks. And so I'm able to tell them firsthand to continue to keep us safe, to continue to ensure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. But I've had the opportunity to work with different STAR programs. So, we have learned our lessons. We've been able to capitalize on things that we've learned from other people that weren't quite there where they should have been. So I'm an advocate, and one of the great things that I remember about the OSH division is when the apprenticeship program was overseen by them, and it was just a great opportunity to have them come out and encourage the pipe fitters when we had different contests, and it's always been a really good experience. Now, when people talk about the OSH division, it's more about, how can we work to ensure that we get the resources that we need, that we can comply, that we can learn from other companies through different programs, that we can take advantage of the different courses that they have. And I see them as a really great resource, not only for myself and the companies that I've worked with, but people that are not yet understanding what they do. And so as a female and being Hispanic, I just really think that I can communicate these things in a way that they do hear me. And so that brings me a lot of fulfillment when I can see those moments that they're understanding, or they've just completed a class and they follow up with me and show me their certificate, or themselves get involved in safety. So it's been a really great experience, and I look forward to continuing several years with the board.
So for both of you, can you tell us about the benefits and resources OSH can offer to employers?
I think I may let Jessica answer this question first, just because you brought up the STAR program. And what would you say are the greatest benefits and resources that the North Carolina Department of Labor can offer companies?
I think the engagement part of it. When OSH comes out in a consultative format, they can't get any better. To have someone that's really dedicated to understand what your needs are, first of all. So that's very important. Some of the things we may struggle with is something that they have had opportunities and exposure to at other different sites. And that's what I took away from the STAR program. I was able to go to so many other sites and borrow with pride, we call it, a lot of their programs, a lot of the systems, the trainings that they do, some of the vendors that supply some of these different PPE, different opportunities, things that we haven't seen that may fit into the needs we had. So the engagement part of it, they're dedicated. They've always been able to follow up. I consider them, people I can reach to. It's never been intimidating because I've been able to get resolution. And so that's really important when you reach out for help and you actually have people that come through. So they will follow up with me. They've been able to point me in the right direction. We've been able to provide different courses, different opportunities for other people that have asked. And so they're a really good bridge for many of the employers that just need help. And it's been nothing but positive for me and the people that we've worked with.
I'm very glad to hear you say that. I'm always glad to hear when people can appreciate and value the resources that we offer. I'll even take it a step back, actually, to a compliance inspection, because that's kind of the part of OSH that people fear. But I'll say that even if your work site has a visit from one of our compliance officers. The goal of that compliance visit is also to help. In the end, there may be citations and penalties, but our ultimate goal is to abate whatever hazards we find. That is our goal, and I do want to make it clear that none of the citations and penalty amounts come to the North Carolina Department of Labor. They all go back to the local school system. So that is not our goal. Our goal is to simply abate whatever hazard exists and to educate the employer on how to abate those hazards. So even a compliance inspection, I think, can be helpful, and the employer can be left with a sense of that this is a resource for us. But, I'm not going to elaborate too much on what Jessica said because I think it's better hearing that from her perspective. But if you take away the compliance part of what we do, our OSH division is just a comprehensive safety and health program. We probably have one of the most comprehensive safety and health programs, if not the most, in the United States, and that's just because our state has invested a lot of money in it, and we're thankful for that. But as Jessica mentioned, we have consultative services, which is where you as a business can submit a request for us to come and visit you. And we will walk around. It can either be a limited scope or a full scope walk around. And all you have to agree to do is abate whatever hazards are there. And we do not share that information with compliance. We're also talking about the 10-hour and the 30-hour classes that's offered by our Education, Training, and Technical Assistance group. And I think we are so strong in those areas because almost 100% of those people are former compliance officers. So they know the standards, they know exactly what a compliance inspection would look like. They know how to help you fix those things. And actually, that's one of our biggest struggles is that we lose our compliance staff to go over and work in the consultative services section and the ETTA section because it's really a fun job. It's incredibly rewarding to get invited to a company and to work with people who just want to make their workplace better. And I don't know that I said this, but it's all free. Every single one of our services are free of charge to the business. So you have absolutely nothing to lose by calling us.
So, Jessica, you've kind of touched on this a little bit already, but was there an aha moment for you when you decided, okay, I want to go into safety? And why should young people consider a career in a safety-related field?
So when I was sitting in that OSHA class, my OSHA 30, I just kept asking questions and kept raising my hand. And I can still remember, it's pretty funny, but the guys sitting in front of me, they were giving me the eye and turning around like if you ask one more question. and I just could not wait for the what's next. And it was during that class when I was, it was just this desire, like people actually do this full time. It resonated with me because I was a foreman. I'm prior military, so I've been able to take care of people, right, in different ways and still meet the mission. However, it's very different when you're a safety professional and that's your dedicated role, because now you're not just pushing work. You want results, but you want quality result, and you want people to not get hurt. And so a lot of this was coupled also when I was able to get my son a job with one of the local contractors. And so when I saw him, his second day, 80 feet up high, it was like, wait, time out, So it resonated with me to know that our jobs are to look out for each other, and people not only were names, but they're somebody's husband, they're somebody's brother, they're somebody's son. And so that passion for the craft was really when I started working with people. I'm seeing them again, I'm getting to know them, then my son gets on board. And so these people, you spend so much time with them. And then you start seeing the opportunities. Okay, well, were you trained? Did you know? Have you been through, all these other things that come to mind. So to me, it was that passion, knowing that I could make a difference and that I truly cared, not just for this one person, but multiple. And so I've been here for many, many years. And it's interesting how I go to different job sites and see people, and they remember me from many, many years ago. And so to answer the second part of the question, as far as why young people should think about a safety profession, not just young people, but anyone who really has the courage. It's going to take a special person to do this role. And when I say that, I just mean the passion, right? Because you could be that person that comes in between, those hard conversations of, I need you to do it now and I need you to do it at any cost. And so there's no room for that anymore. We can't do the things we did when I was a foreman. And so it's imperative that we have people that are passionate, that want to learn, that want to make a difference, that see themselves in other people. It's such a diverse culture and workplace. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come out here, because, we didn't get to see people that look like me and that can advocate for workers. And so it gives me a lot of pride to be able to take people under my wing and to have these conversations and engagement of, I know you're trying to do this, however, this is not correct, or you have to stop, or, did you know that you have the stop work authority? No matter what it is, if you have a complaint, if you have an issue, I'm here to listen to you. And not just me, but a lot of the other people in the leadership on site, because, we have to understand that it takes a special person to fill this role. And we need it. We need it for the workplaces here in North Carolina. We need people that really care and that are going to have those hard conversations. When you're getting pushed, when the schedule is already behind. And there's a lot of people that care out here.
So Jennifer, why should young people consider working for the OSH division?
I'm just going to continue with what Jessica said about there are a lot of people here who care. If you come to work for the OSH division, especially in compliance, you have to care. You have to care about the people that you're going to help. You have to care about your job. And I think by and large, everyone that works here, that is the way that we operate. We care about each other as coworkers, and we care about the job a lot. And I will be honest, it is a hard job. My job is a heck of a lot easier than the job of a compliance officer. That is probably the hardest job that we have here in this department. You have to be dedicated to a really long-term training, but at the end of the day, your work impacts pretty much everybody in the state of North Carolina, because pretty much everybody in the state of North Carolina goes to a job at some point, sometime in their life. And those people, when you go to work every day, you don't necessarily think you're going to get injured. You're going to have some sort of catastrophic accident that happens while you're at work. So why should young people consider coming to work here? Well, first of all, it's an exciting job. It's a hard job, but it's an exciting job. I kind of think about it as like a detective. And let's think about if you get assigned an accident investigation. You're sort of working the role of a detective, an investigator. You're going to go out and you're going to look at the site. You're going to conduct a lot of interviews. You're going to get witness statements. You're going to take photographs. You're going to have to do some research. And part of that is being able to communicate that in the form of a report and in the form of a narrative, and sometimes in the form of citations that have to be legally defensible. So again, it is a hard job, but we are an incredibly supportive agency. We have incredible people here to train you. We have very, very long-term staff who know just about everything there is to know about workplace safety and health. And we're going to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful in your job. There are a lot of benefits to working for the North Carolina Department of Labor, and a lot of benefits to working with state government in general. But I think at the end of the day, the biggest benefit is knowing that your job makes a difference and that there is a career path for you here. And there are a lot of people who work in this agency who came in as an entry-level compliance officer and have moved up through the ranks and have gotten a lot of great opportunities. So we have a lot of positions posted right now. We're even looking at changing some of our postings. Some of them have already been posted to trainee positions. So if you're listening to this and you are in college and you're getting ready to graduate, and maybe you're getting your degree in biology or chemistry or safety, we have jobs for you here. We have trainee positions that you could qualify for. So that's something I would strongly encourage you to consider.
So our next podcast episodes will continue with this theme of the benefits of a career in workplace safety, but they're going to include perspectives from a diverse range of folks who work in safety and health. Do either of you have any final thoughts or any final comments on that one?
I'll just say, Jessica mentioned having people around her that look like her. And, I think it's a powerful statement that we're both females here sitting, having this conversation about safety, which maybe in the past has been a very male-dominated field. I'll just be very honest that, we have a lot of vacant positions, and we need young people to be interested in this. We need bilingual people to be interested in this job. We need people from a lot of different backgrounds bringing their perspective. So that's kind of a preview of some things we'll be talking about in the future.
And I just wanted to thank you. And just like Jennifer said, I was in a meeting a week ago, and out of 16 people, 9 of them were females. And it's very different from when I started my apprenticeship, where there could be 400 people and maybe 2 females. And it's very interesting to see the leadership in the workplace, and especially in the OSH division. So I look forward to the next podcast and everything else that's awaiting for us. And so thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We're very honored to have both of you with us today.
I'm excited for what's to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. And remember, your safety is our priority.